What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're an indie artist looking for an album review and some promo, you can hit up Luke at redmattersite.com. And welcome to another episode of The Archives, where we take a look at hip-hop albums from the past. This time around, we'll be taking a look at Kanye West's 2004 debut and classic, College Dropout. This album had 10 Grammy nominations and won Best Rap Album back in 2005, and it is still my personal favorite Kanye West album. So after you watch this review, hit me up in the comments section and let me know how you feel about this album. Do you have some fond memories from this album? Favorite songs? Is it your favorite Kanye album? Etc. Just whatever you want to tell me. Now, I just reviewed Jay-Z's album, The Blueprint, and in that review I talked about how that album marked the rise of Kanye West because of the little bit of production that he did on there. But here, on the College Dropout, Kanye West produced every track, and this is where everybody first became familiar with him as a rapper. And one thing that is really interesting about this album is that it was close to not happening at all, because no labels wanted to take a chance on Kanye as a rapper. They all thought that Kanye was just better off as a producer. But eventually, Dame Dash signed Kanye West to Rockefeller Records. And the rest is history, because just look at how successful and influential Kanye West has been. Now, while working on this album, Kanye West was involved in a car crash that broke his jaw, which then led him to craft his lead single, Through the Wire. Through the Wire sampled Chaka Khan's song, Through the Fire, and Kanye actually recorded this track with his jaw wired shut, and that really added a lot of emotion and realness to the track. This song went into detail about his accident and his recovery, and he also talked about his journey to be signed. All while proving to his critics and all those labels that passed up on him that he was legit as a rapper. And even beyond legit, he was pretty damn good. Kanye was very open and honest on that track, and in fact, that's how he was on pretty much this entire album. I mean, when you think about Kanye West now, a lot of people often describe him as arrogant or an asshole, but back when the College Dropout came out, he was much more humble. And while the majority of the rappers were on that gangsta shit or that club shit, Kanye was more like the everyday man, which made it easier for people to gravitate towards his music because of the relatable content. Like when he spit about the daily grind of working a shitty job, while also working on your dreams in your spare time. On the uplifting anthem, Spaceship, which featured GLC and Consequence. And on the song, All Falls Down, which features some great vocals from Selena Johnson, he rapped about being self-conscious and insecure. And at the time, a lot of the rappers in the mainstream were not making themselves that vulnerable. But Kanye did, and that's one thing that set him apart from the competition. Because one of the main themes of this album was just to be true to yourself and not give up on your dreams. Now, of course, Kanye's unique production set him apart from his competition as well, because at the time, in 2004, a lot of mainstream rappers had beats that were very synth and keyboard heavy. Meanwhile, Kanye was making use of unique samples, gospel choirs, and even bringing some live instruments into the mix. So we also have to acknowledge all of the great work that Miri Ben Ari, the hip-hop violinist, did on this album. Especially on the new workout plan where she went off with her violin. Kanye also did something else that was no easy task with this album. He had a smash single called Jesus Walks that was built on gospel and choir samples. Now, a lot of rappers since the beginning of time have touched on religion in their songs, but this song was just in your face, and even if you weren't a religious person, you couldn't deny how creative and great of a song it was. To this day, Jesus Walks is still one of the most bold, religious-based rap songs to make it as a hit. And Never Let Me Down, featuring Jay-Z and Jay Ivy, was another great faith-based song on this album. And there were some other great features on here as well. Two Words was an all-out bar fest, and it featured Mos Def and Freeway. And on this track, they all rapped in a flow that emphasized two words or two syllables. And it was cool how Kanye West brought the Harlem Boys Choir to add some vocals. Also, Talib Kweli and Common were featured on the song Get 'Em High. But one of the weirdest features was Ludacris on Breathe In, Breathe Out, because all he did was the hook. And I've always wondered about that, because at the time this album came out, Ludacris was absolutely on fire. So I don't get why Kanye West didn't get a verse from him. I guess maybe it wasn't in the album's budget, or maybe he just didn't want to get eaten alive by Luda on his own track. Whatever the case, a Ludacris verse would have really helped the song out, because I think it was one of the more dull moments on the album, and I usually skip it. But one of the most popular tracks on this album is the incredibly smooth Slow Jams, featuring Jamie Foxx and Twista. This track was also on Twista's album, Kamikaze, and that album had the Kanye West produced Overnight Celebrity on it as well. Twista had one of his catchiest flows ever on Slow Jams, and Kanye West's verse was pretty damn catchy too. And hilarious. I think everyone knows at least half of that Kanye West verse, or at least the part where he's rapping about the girl who has a light-skinned friend that looks like Michael Jackson and a dark-skinned friend that looks like Michael Jackson. That part alone is pretty much legendary. And that wasn't the only time that Kanye West showed his wit and humor on the College Dropout, because this album was just full of it. Like on We Don't Care, where he spit about how dyslexic kids' favorite 50 Cent song is 12 Questions. And We Don't Care is actually one of my favorite Kanye West songs ever. And it's also known as a little bit of a 25th birthday anthem because of the lyric where he says, "We wasn't supposed to make it past 25, joke's on you, we still alive." Which was also a little bit of social commentary on the struggles of black youth. So like I say in a lot of my reviews, I know I probably missed some stuff here, but that's what's so great about the comment section. You guys can weigh in and let me know what you think about this album. So do that, and as usual, do all that other good YouTube and social media stuff where you like this video, you share it, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet my videos, and you especially subscribe to my channel. That's the one that really helps me out. I'll see you next time. We got some more classic reviews coming because it's a very dry month. But of course, Big Sean is dropping, and also Tyga and Chris Brown have a project dropping, so I'll probably review that as well, so stay tuned.